Hi guys, welcome to this video. It's going to be a really quick revision lesson covering the topics of word processing for the practical. That's paper 2 of the IGCSE ICT. So I've got a list here of some of the key areas that hopefully you should know about. So this will be a quick run through to help you be confident just before the exam. Okay, first bullet point is read the questions carefully, because often with this exam, I've got a paper example here, is there's a lot of reading to go through. So just make sure you've got a strategy, maybe underlining or ticking off each point, because sometimes you might miss an important part of the question and sometimes it can affect the rest of your paper. Particularly in word processing, it's a lot of just following instructions and just making sure you don't miss anything out. Some of the questions can be quite wordy, so just making sure you've read it and understood what you need to do. Okay. So the first bullet point, something really important, is styles. I think a lot of the word processing you might be able to problem solve or just do, but styles is a skill that you really need to learn and be able to do in the practical. So I've just got a example up here. This is just one of the source files from a past paper. And you'll see in the Home tab, you've got your styles up here. If you click on it, you can see there's already 2 styles that are already there. So some of the examples they give you will have no styles and you have to create your own one. Some of them will have some supplied that you need to modify. Okay. So what the styles let you do is change everything in one go just by changing this style. Okay. So the first thing, to modify a style, if there's already a style up there, you click on it, click on modify, and if you change, for example, if I change it to Arial, it will change all of the paragraphs that have been set to this style. Okay. To make your own style, you click here and click create a style. Make sure you follow the exam question paper. It tells you exactly what you need to write to use it exactly the same words and symbols as the question. Click on modify and you can set up your style here, follow the instructions. Okay. I'll go through a quick example from a question paper. Okay, so in this paper, it says create and store the following style, basing it on the default normal paragraph style. So when it's create and store, that means in our Word document, I'll just snap that to the side, there we go. You make a new one. So create a style. In the styles tab, it needs to be exactly the same as what's in the bold. So VG-subhead, click on modify. Okay, what we want is it to be exactly the same as this. So a sans serif font is without style. That would be Arial. If it says serif, I would use Times New Roman. So Arial for sans serif. The font size is 20. The alignment needs to be center aligned, which is this one. You got bold, italic up here. And for line spacing, you can do it here, but I like to go into format and paragraph. And you can set the line spacing to single, and it needs 0 before and 0 after. So it's already 0 before in spacing. We can also put the space after as 0. Okay. When you take your screenshot in the exam, you take a screenshot of this page, like so. One question though, you need to be really careful. If it says default normal paragraph style, it also tells you here, make sure it says style based on. Okay, this is what you need to base it on. And choose normal or default, it will say in your thing, and that will be a mark also. Okay, so you'll get at least a mark for the name, making sure it's perfectly copied. Style based on normal if it asks for that. And then in your screenshot, it needs to have these in to get you the marks, probably one each for those. Okay. When you press OK, you'll see that already mine has gone onto the subheadings. There's normally a question that you have to apply that style into the subheadings, like so. And just again, read the question carefully of how many subheadings you need to do that for. Okay. One thing you need to remember for styles, if I was to do that and make mine in create a style and I'm inside maybe a paragraph, what that will do is it'll apply the style like that. Okay, if that happens on yours, you can maybe make sure you're in that paragraph and just put it back into body. So most of the paragraphs will be body, and if it's called subhead, that will be the subheading. In a lot of the past papers I've marked, often people will make that new style inside a paragraph and it makes that whole paragraph, and you can see where that will go very wrong for your final printout. Okay, so make sure it's body. Okay, you'll see in the question paper, if you do make that mistake, see normally towards the end it might say again, original styles are maintained. So if it doesn't ask you to change something, make sure you don't accidentally do that. Okay. Okay, let's see. So that's styles. Again, create a style or right click to modify. Often it will ask you to modify a style slightly. Again, just follow those instructions on the exam paper carefully. Make sure if you create a style, base it on normal. Okay. Often something might come up that's extra. Check format and see if it's in paragraph. If it's bullet points, it could be in numbering. If there's a certain style you need to apply for that. Okay. Okay, next section we'll look at. Again, read the questions and then styles, applying styles, columns. So most of the past papers will have columns in. This is an area which can go very wrong if you do it incorrectly. So if I just check a question paper, because most of them will have a column question in. Okay, here we go. So often it's quite wordy. So again, read the question carefully, underline, circle if you need to. Select the subheading video games and then up to and including the paragraph transactions and advertisements. Change the page layout so only the text is displayed in two columns of equal width with a 2 centimeter space between them. So this is only worth 2 marks, but it can affect the whole presentation because if it's not in 2 columns or you select the wrong area, it can massively affect your final printout. So video games to transactions and advertisements. Okay, try not to read everything to find that. Press Control F for find and type in the word you're looking for. Look, there it is, transactions, and then make sure you select only that text. Okay. Some questions might say to the end of the writing. Sometimes it's just some of the text in there. Then go up to layout, click on columns. Okay, it did say 2 columns, but I would always go to more columns. The reason is you then get your spacing, which was 2. Usually you have to also put that there as well. Okay, press OK, make sure equal column width, and just again follow exactly what the exam question says. Okay, you'll see that will put some of it into columns like so. Okay. Okay, then next section, I'm just going to add a new one. Something that I've seen that's came up is page breaks. Okay, sometimes a question might say remove any page breaks. That means you can see here there's obviously a big gap where there's a break in a page break basically, which starts a new page. Okay, you could click here and backspace, but it's gone a bit strange there. You have to go back to, I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but it would solve the problem. Just going to go back. Another way you can do that is go up to home, and you've got this button here in your paragraph tools, which is show or hide. Okay, and that shows you any hidden sort of formatting, like paragraphs and page break. You can see here it says page break. So if I minus that page break, and then it automatically puts it with the page break there in between. Okay, and then just click on that to get rid of those hidden paragraph formatting. Okay, so next thing, another key thing you need to know is indents. Okay, so on my example, I guess an indent is where the paragraph is further in. You can see this list is indented. Usually it'll be on a question where you have to bring a list in. Sometimes it's also in a paragraph. So to do that, you go to Layout, and you've got your indent. You can move that across. Okay, if you want a whole paragraph or a list, select all of them, and then you can indent it to whatever the question should say. Okay. Sometimes it might even ask you to indent a paragraph. It can even be from the right. So 1 centimeter in, and it could be 1 centimeter that way. Again, just follow the instructions carefully if you have to indent, and do exactly what it's asked you to do there. Okay, so that's an indent. Okay, and the sloth is just chilling there. And we'll go back to my list. So bullet points. Again, bullet points I think is fairly straightforward in these questions. It usually will be a question like there's a list. Sometimes the list won't have any bullets already. This one already did. But to add them, you just go up to this bullet points in paragraphs, select the type of bullets you want to use. It will often ask for something that's not readily available in this library here. So to get a new bullet, you can go to Define New Bullet and choose a symbol. If it was a dash, for example, or something you have to find from this symbol list, I'll just choose that dash to show and press OK, like so. And then obviously remember to, if it needs to be indented, because usually that's when you have to do that skill, indent, and put it exactly to what the question's asked. Okay, so that's bullet points. That's fairly straightforward. Okay. Right, tables. If you check out the videos in my channel, also in this playlist of the revision, quick revision lessons, we'll do tables and charts in those, because there's a lot more to these two sections. They're also worth quite a few marks. Sometimes the tables and charts will also be in the presentation section. It's usually one or the other in each section. So we'll come back to that. Okay, next is images. Okay, images is pretty straightforward. Just read the question carefully. So to put an image in, select exactly where you want the image to be. Go Insert, Picture. You'll usually have your image inside your source file that you need to use. So insert that in. Okay. In the question, we'll usually ask you to resize it. So just resize it exactly how you want. If you click this, you can make it aspect ratio locked, so it doesn't change and make it squashed and things like that. And then again, just type in, it'll maybe say a height or a width. Just follow that in the instructions. Okay. You can also see that it will push everything down below and it will move everything across, which won't always be very good. You'll normally have to wrap the text. So again, read the question carefully. If it's through or square, just read whatever it says. Okay. If it says in the top right of the paragraph, again, join it up with the margin. Okay. Sometimes it might say move it so it fits the whole margin. Again, just follow the instructions carefully, wrap text, and put it exactly into the side it asks for on the question. Okay. So images, I think, are straightforward. And then again, you might have a picture border or a weight around. Sometimes it might ask for that. Okay. So images. Okay, so remember tables and charts we'll cover on a whole video on their own because they do take up a lot of marks. Finally, when you're ready to print, before you print, there's usually a question just to check that there's maybe no widows or orphans. Okay, that would be where maybe a title is slightly on maybe the section break before. So to do that, you can just maybe the usually way you might have to press enter and it would push that across one. Okay, it's a harder skill to sort of figure out sometimes in these, but just make sure there's normally maybe one heading that you can move across a little bit. Okay, and again, just any spacing or anything missing, I can see there's a big page break there. So if that happened in yours, just make sure you haven't got a sort of big page break you can see there, and it moves across. Okay, and again, just check that you've not made any mistakes like this. I've forgotten to put the subheading on. Okay. Last thing is printing then. So the last question, just check, make sure most of the time it will be on 2 pages. If you've got a lot of pages, just check that you followed those instructions carefully. And if you have followed each instruction, it should normally fit together quite well. And there might be just one section you need to move across. And then you should be ready to print. So Control P to print. Before you print, just check out your page preview, making sure your name's on the header and footer. And check that your print settings are correct. When you receive your printout, remember, again, if you get any extra pages, do not hand them in if you do have an extra page that you couldn't get rid of. And again, just have a quick look, make sure you haven't made any small mistakes on your printout, and then make sure you save your work and then move on to the next question. Okay. A few things to remember. Okay, this section word, if you can follow instructions carefully, you should do well in this section, but you still need to work quite quickly so you're ready for the database and PowerPoint sections. It's out of usually 24, 25 marks. And again, a lot of it is reading the questions carefully. So again, tick off, underline, circle the keywords to make sure you haven't forgotten anything major there. Okay, so follow this playlist and there'll also be some videos for database section and presentations and also tables and charts, which are quite important for word processing and the presentation section. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful, and again, just so you're really confident going into the exam. And again, check out this playlist or the videos in my channel for other sections, so paper 3 and the rest of paper 2. Okay, thank you for watching and good luck in your final exams.